So stop number 8 is not far from stop number 7, and it's in the Spencer Canyon area of Dundas. So we're going to take a look at two waterfalls. The first one is here, it's called the Twos Waterfalls, and the other set of waterfalls, you can kind of see them here, are the Webster's Falls. This is a nice aerial view of the canyon. You can make out the edge of the canyon right in there. So here are two pictures of the falls that we're going to take a look at. The one on the left is the Twos Falls, and the one on the right is the Webster's Falls. You can make out the sedimentary layers in that rock cliff there, and some of the rock down in here is a softer rock. There's some interbedded layers of shale and some weaker limestone, and as the water flows over, it undercuts, and this cliff works its way back. It's very similar to what you may have learned about with Niagara Falls, which is the same situation but on a much larger scale. But there are many waterfalls along this escarpment through Ontario, and often they're overlooked and not well known. But there's lots of conservation areas that you can go to visit these beautiful features. This next video clip takes a look at the Twos Falls, and then it pans out to look over the Spencer Canyon. So I'm going to pause right here to point something out. If you take a look right at that feature off in the distance, that's an arête, and later on we're going to take a look at a video clip heading out onto that arête. Now we're going to take a look at the Webster's Falls, which is just a 10-minute hike from the Twos Falls that we just looked at. So there's a larger volume of water going over these falls, but it's not as high. As you can see, it's a beautiful area, a nice place to go for a day hike, and it's not too far away. Now take a look at the shelf right here. You might be asking, well, why is there that shelf? Basically, if you think back to what we learned about with hard and soft rock, that's another layer of harder rock that doesn't erode as quickly as the layers in behind it. This slide takes a closer look at the rock of the Niagara escarpment, and it's quite easy to see the layering. Now if I zoom in on this section right here, you have shale, and shale is a slightly metamorphosed version of mudstone, and the different layering, or the change from one rock type to the next through the layers, represents a change in the environment at which it settled in that sea so long ago. Sometimes the changes are seasonal, or they can be from year to year, or decade to decade, and so on. You also see up here this rock. It's harder. It's called dolomite. It's a slightly metamorphosed version of limestone, and it stands proud because it takes more to wear it down than the underlying shale. I'd also like to point out the power of plants. And right here we have some beautiful cedar trees that are growing in amongst these cliffs. It's a harsher environment, tougher to grow, but these roots do find their way into the cracks to find moisture. And as they grow upward, searching for the sunlight, and you get these curve-shaped cedar trees. Now it's amazing to know that along the Niagara escarpment, there are trees that are up to 3,000 years old that have survived for such a long time. Now in this next video clip, I'm just going to zoom in on this picture. If you recall a few slides ago of the Two's waterfalls, I paused it to take a look at this arête formation out in the Spencer Canyon. This next video takes a look at just walking down this arête to the outer edge to have a look at the canyon from that view. So this is just a hike out onto the arête. Hang tight, might get a little dizzy here. It's a little steeper than it looks in the video. I don't recommend walking out on an arête while videotaping with an iPad, but I'm still here to tell about it, so everything's good. No worries, just sounded worse than it was. So as I head out here to the end of the arête, you'll get a view of Spencer Canyon. And if we take a look to the right, we're going to be looking back at Two's Falls. You can't quite see the falls here, but they fall down, and then the creek continues on down through the canyon. That's just taking a look back up from where we came.